Good night, everyone. Johnson. I God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Summer Jazz Spiritual. I'm here to give you a word on tonight. Peter, miraculous escape from prison. It's gonna be the power of prayer. You know, he all his church members, all they gonna know that he went to jail. And they're gonna be praying. They're gonna be praying so hard they ain't gonna know that's Peter knocking at the door. So that's the power of prayer. You know, this story gonna come from Acts chapter 12, 1 to 19. So it was about this time that the king had arrested some who belongs to the church, intended to prosecute them. Now they want to prosecute someone because they're a member of a church. So Herod, who beheaded John, and now has commanded himself to the Jews leader by protecting their religion. In this himself further by arresting in James, it's a brother of John. Remember John head was cut off. James was a brother of him. So he gonna want to do James just because he can't to John. So he had James, the brother of John, put to death with the sword. Now we see that he is eager to do James because he is the brother of John. And sometimes that's how it is. Just because who you know, they're gonna come at you more because that's just like Jesus had said. Jesus was saying when he left the second time, he told his disciples, now y'all not gonna have it easy now. Just because you was under me, you might get prosecuted and beat and lie and everything else just because you know me. Jesus told him. So when he had saw that this had meant with approval among the Jews, now he proceeded to seize Peter also. Now Peter ain't do nothing. He really wanted James, because James was a brother of John. So then he looking out there, he see Peter out there with the church member. Okay, I'm gonna do Peter too. So this happened during the festival of the unleavened bread. So he wants to do James because he the brother of John, and he wants to do Peter because he saw Peter out there. Now he want this to happen during the festival of unleavened bread. They have approval to seize Peter and James. So after arresting him, now he put him in prison, handed him over to be guarded by four squads, of four soldiers. Four squads and four soldiers. Now each have intended to bring him out for public trial after the Passover. See, they're gonna wait after the Passover. But guess what? God work quickly. They're gonna come there in the next morning. They're trying to because they want to do him after the festival. But Peter James, or at least Peter gonna be gone. Gonna be gone before morning get here. And that's how power, that's how prayers work. So just the squad and the four soldiers, and I have intended to bring them out public, trials after the Passover. Now he wanna do this public. He wanna do this public right after the festival. So now they arrested Peter, and all four soldiers. Now each who had the care of the prison, each company, is talking in turns, one of the four watches of the night. So they got four watches. Don't care if you got 10 or 20 watches. When God's coming through, God is coming through. Just watch out. They putting watches. They can put soldiers, guards. They can have how many they want out up in there. Peter is coming out. So Peter was kept in prison, but the church were eager, praying to God for him. That's power of prayer. And so he got the church member. The church member automatically say, we praying for you. But the church members, they went home to pray. And they're gonna be praying for a good little while. They're gonna pray a good little while. Next thing you know, Peter gonna be knocking on the door. So that's the first thing you do is pray being in a situation. So while Peter was in prison, the church member had started praying. Prayers work. and you got to, it might not work the same day. It might not work the next day, but you got to keep on. Remember that widow had put out? She just kept on. She kept on praying until she wore that judge out. He had another choice. Look, I'm gonna take your case, because you just gonna keep on bothering. They kept on praying until Peter was knocking at the door. So Herod had Peter arrested, during the Passover celebration. Now, this was a shortest move because more Jews was in the city than usual. So Herod had could oppress a good number of people, but Herod planning to execute Peter, just like James. But the believer was praying for Peter's safety. And prayers of the church affected the outcome of these events. Now, we don't understand how prayers work, but the Lord responded to the believers, prayers, and sent an angel, to release Peter from prison. So the night before Herod was to bring him to trial, Peter was sleeping between the two soldiers. Man had two soldiers with two chains, and they stood guard at the entrance. Now suddenly, an angel of the Lord had appeared in the light of the stone, in a cell. Now he struck Peter on the side and woke him up and said, quickly, get up, get up. Now he said, and the chains start coming up. The gates start opening up, and that's how prayers work. And so before you know it, the angel came. When the angel had came and woke him up, told him to get up, the chain automatically just started falling off his legs. It just started falling off. The gate just started opening up. Now God had sent an angel to rescue Peter, and the angel of God messenger. They are divided creature being with a supernatural power. And they sometimes, take on human appearance, in order to talk to people. Appearance in order to talk to people. Now, the angel should not be worshipped, because they are not divine. Now we see that prayers work. Prayers work for Peter. Now, Peter had prayed, and the people of the church had prayed. Prayers went to God. Now, we see that God came to his rescue him, by sending an angel. And then the angel had said to him, put on your clothes. Put on your clothes and sandals. And Peter did so. Wrap your coat around you. Follow me. And the angels told him, and Peter followed him out of the prison, but he had no idea, that what the angel was doing was really happening. Now, you could, sometimes you can be asleep. And if you do wake up sometimes, it's like you just seeing things. You don't know if it's really happening or not. Now, Peter said he see the angel. Okay? He see the chain came off. He see the gate is opening up. But he's still trying to figure out if I'm still asleep. Is this really happening? So he's still trying to figure out if it's really happening. And so Peter had been sleeping in prison. Now his execution is scheduled for the next day. Now James had already been beheaded. Now he already cut James' head off because he did it to his brother. So he wanted to do it to James, for no reason. So when an angel awakened him and the chain fall off, now Peter is likely, dizzy. Yes, in fact, now he think it's a vision, or a dream. And at this time the angel had to tell him exactly what to do. He's still drowsy. So he said, dress for the fight. Get dressed and be for action. You about to have some action going on right now. I need you to put some clothes on. I need you to put your sandals on. When he rise up, the chain automatically start coming out. The gate already start opening up. So, and when he saw the angel, he telling him to get up. The whole time he thought it was a vision. Now he didn't realize it actually was happening. It actually was happening. For him to just get out that prison. And go ahead on. So they passed first. The second guard And it came to the iron gate, leading to the city. Now it's open for them by itself, and they went through it. So when they had walked the length of one street, suddenly the angel had left him. Now see, it was an angel job to get him out of prison. It wasn't for the angel to hang around him. So that's why when he looked around, the angel was gone, because the angel's job was to get him out of the prison. Out of the prison. Once he was out and he crossed the street, the angel job was done. It was already done. So when he saw the angel, he telling him to get up. So they had passed the first guard, the second guard, and then he got out the gate. He turned around, the angel was gone. So Jerusalem was surrounded by 3 walls, so they had passed through the gate, of these 3 walls successfully, so he passed through. He passed through the gate, and he didn't realize this was really happening until he got outside of the gate. So while Peter was sleeping between the 2 soldiers, bound, with 2 chains, and stood the guard at the entrance. Now suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared, a light stone in the cell, and he struck Peter on the side and woke him up. So now there were 16 soldiers, guarded Peter, and Peter had guarded, by the soldier. But when God had sent the angel, the chains had fell off. He looked up, the gate had opening up. So when the angel God, had him outside of the gate, then the angel's job was done. So then Peter had came to himself and said, how, now, you sent the angel and rescued me from Herod, clutches, and from everything the Jewish people was hoping, what happened, and they had prayed for this day to happen. Peter, escaped, so they see that God came through for him. We see he came through him. We see the prayers that went up to God. It went up to God. So when this had dawned on him, he went to the house of Mary, the mother of John and James, also called him Mo. Now, where many people had gathered and was praying. Now, all they know that James and Peter went to jail. So now Peter is out, and so Peter needs to go and let the family know, the friends know what happened to James. So when Peter was free, he went straight by John's mother's house. And when he arrived, they all was praying. They still was praying. They was praying so hard, not knowing that Peter's knocking on the door. So an angel had just rescued Peter, from prison the moment before Herod had planned on having him escorted to his execution. Instead of Peter go, into hiding, but he wanted the church to know that he is okay. He goes to the home of Mary, the mother of John. Now, when he escaped out of prison, all he was supposed to do was break out and run. Anybody would have just broke out and run and hide somewhere, but not him. He walked to Mary's house, and he knocking on the door. Nobody don't want to open the door for him, because they're like, Peter's in jail. Who knocking at the door? So we see that the power of praying that reached up to heaven was God sent his angel to rescue Peter. Now Peter knocked at the door. Peter knocked at the outer entrance, and a servant named Rhonda had came to answer the door. Now she answered the door, but she ain't gonna let Peter in. Oh, I didn't know that Peter in jail, and Peter knocking at the door. So when she recognized Peter's voice, now she was so overjoyed that she ran back without opening, and claiming Peter is at the door. Now she was just so excited. But all they know that Peter in jail, and they're up there praying. They're praying for Peter, and Peter's knocking at the door. Now she's so happy and excited, so she left the door and ran to the back. Not open the door for Peter. She running because she was just so excited. So their servant Rhonda now they knew that Peter was in prison. So when he knocking on the door, she full of joy and she still did not open the door. Peter is at the door. Peter is at the door, and they know that that Peter the Rhonda, their servants. She knew she was a new servant. So she took all day to try to open the door for Peter. So you out of your mind. They told her, if you out of your mind, they told her, and when she had kept insisting that it was so, they said it must be his angel. So they didn't believe also. She telling them that's Peter at the door. Well, it might be an angel. It might be an angel. It might not be Peter. So she didn't want to believe that Peter is at the door, though it was an angel. So now they still did not open the door. They're discussing about this Peter, if that's an angel, and it's nobody still not open the door. All they know is that Peter was in jail, but Peter kept on knocking, and when they had opened the door and they saw him, there was a storm. And she had him out there a good little while, and not answering the door. So once Peter had free, he went to many houses and left his friends, there that they were safe. Now, so Mary's servant Rhonda, she was so excited to see Peter that she left him outside the gate and rushed to tell the prayers worked. So they were still praying. So he wanted to go tell them, okay, y'all, the prayers work. Okay, Pete is at the door. Pete is at the door. So they assumed that Rhonda was mistaken. And they thought it must be Peter, grandmother, the angel. So Peter mentioned with his hand for them to quiet, and describe how the Lord had brought him out. They want to know how he got out. How he got out. Tell James and the other brothers and sisters about this that he said. And then he left for another place. Now James is here, is Jesus' half brother. Now he led the church in Jerusalem, and James rejected the idea his brother was the Messiah. So his brother had disowned him as his brother before his death. So he believed after he saw Jesus raised from the dead, Jesus had led a church. That's why all was by him praying. So Peter said, let James know that he's okay. Okay, so in the morning, remember in the morning, just supposed to prosecute Peter. They supposed to prosecute Peter. So in the morning. So there was no small commotion among the soldiers as to what had become of Peter. So after Peter escaped, Herod cross-examined the guards and rushingly ordered their execution. Because see, when they have soldiers and guards at the door like that, at the prison gate, and if a prison get out, then they have to get executed because they don't know if they don't let them out, they know the people or what, but they're going to try to execute these soldiers that was at the gate. They ordered the execution, and that day, if a guard permit a prisoner to escape, remain law requires that he, so if he received the same punishment, that the prisoner would have received, now next morning, Peter was surprised to be executed, but when they had went to Peter, so they outside, and he started cross-examination. So he examining all his guards. Was supposed to let Peter out. But after Herod had thoroughly searched and made him and did not find him, that he cross-examined the whole order that they be executed. Now, they're trying to execute the guards because if anybody allowed them to escape, they had to get a punishment. So they didn't understand. They didn't understand the power of prayer. They want to execute Peter for no reason because he was teaching people in church. So all the people in church came together in prayer, and Peter in his cell prayed that we see prayers work is very powerful. Now we see in the situation you're in, pray on it. Pray on it. You saw that he was in jail, he was praying. You got to pray on every situation. You got to pray. And see they want to prosecute Peter and James because they is constantly doing the work, hanging on in there, you know, and so that's all the word I have for you today. Y'all have a blessed and safe day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.